So this might be an extremely quick video. I just wanted to show it's something that's been bothering me for a long time. So as we know, this is the monorail station for the layout. And since I'm in the process of wiring, and I think you see some of the old videos where you can see all the wiring and the lighting in this thing. You might see a little bit today, but you can see where I ran the wires on the outside too, because of course on the inside you can't. There's no place to run it, so I ran it outside. So this goes up to one basic life lights kit, which has 8 lights on the top, and one's not working. I had to figure that out sometime. Probably disconnected. And it comes down here, it comes across here. I probably should have got them across here, so it hides in the gray. Comes down here, it goes into here where it lights up this area, here, and then it comes back out here, and comes down to here, wraps around here, goes into the building, and comes out into one of my patented, not really patented, one of my 1x2x4 electrical plates. If I can pull this one off, I should have done this earlier. One of my 2x4 electrical plates that I soldered a wire to. So that's what's happening here. So the idea is there's an electrical plate there that's soldered with the wire, this wire coming to it, soldered on there. And then there's this plate on the base plate that gets put in storage. And then this wire will be going down through this hole that I took a jigsaw a few years back to make. And you're going to say, Dave, you cut into a gray plate, base plate, a 32x32 base plate, by the way, just so you know, to keep track of the base plates that I've destroyed. But yes, you can see that I took a jigsaw here, but the corner was already broken off anyway. So for one of my tests, I think it was in the driveway, when I was trying to see how well this thing was going to light up outside. I did all that prep during the day, so it was a quick cut. This is the seam between the two modules. This is one module, and this is the other module. The 3 base plates by 2 base plates, and all these things are taped down onto the wood underneath. You can see the particle board. This is melamine, so it weighs a ton. I may change that in the future if I find something lighter, because they are heavy. They are stupid heavy. Melamine, 20 inches by 30 inches. They're just stupid heavy. And then, of course, there's 4 of them in a box, which is just a lot of work and effort to carry into a show. My boxes, that box there, which is twice as high, is a lot lighter to carry than for one box of 4 of these modules, because melamine is just stupid heavy, and it's something I'm going to take care of. Anyway, you don't have to hear that tangent. I tell you anyway. So I took off the 2x2 tiles that this thing was resting on before, and the wire used to come straight down here into that hole, straight down from here into that hole. I've since moved it into the building here, and it's attached soldered to this 2x4 electrical plate. And then to have a corresponding electrical plate underneath, which is connected to one of these life lights, Rov's life lights, power bars kits, 120 volt kits. And the whole purpose is so I can just drop this building onto the zone that I made for it. Like all these tiles here basically hold this thing up, right? And so before, it was plated or bricked down. And every time I took it off, I would lose 3 or 4 or a dozen pieces attached to the base plate instead of staying on the tower, or in the monorail station. So I'd have to rebuild the bottom every time I took it off the layout, because of course it can't go into storage, right? Because these modules go into the one box, and this goes into a different box. So I came up with this solution with tiles, and you know, everybody does this. And there's a little lip here, so this station cannot move back, forth, and sideways. So it was a nice way of doing it, but then I still had to do something with the wiring and the wires. So basically, I ignored because the wire came down from here straight into the hole, and then underneath the hole underneath the layout, I had access, and the wire was just dangling there. And I would just crawl underneath the table and just do the wiring. So I wanted to make this more permanent and easier for me at a show. So there are going to be shows where I'm not going to light this thing up, and I don't have to worry about that, because this thing, it's got this little wire on here, and this little wire is going to go over to the 2 landing pads up there to light those up. So it's going to plug into a basic kit instead of plugging into here. It's going to plug into a basic kit over there. That's going to be taped to the bottom. I basically take a circular hole drill, and I cut about a 3-inch diameter hole under. And I should show you that sometime, underneath the landing pads. And because all the wires from the lights from the landing pads go back to one spot in the middle of the base plate. And I take double face tape, and I tape the life lights kit to the bottom of the landing pad with all the wires plugged into it. And then it sits there. It's kind of neat. So, and then at a show where I'm going to light up, I just plug in that life lights kit to a power supply. And I'm going to have like some sort of cable run coming from the back of the layout underneath, hanging from the joist underneath when I want to light it up. And if I don't want to light it up, I don't have to light it up. Because I think the lighting up is going to take time. And I would only do that for shows where it would be advantageous to light up, like a show that's going to have a lights out. So if I'm doing like a hobby show or a toy train and doll show or another shows like that, there's no way. The thing's fully lit with huge halogen lights. So nobody's going to pay any attention to this thing lit up. They're just not going to. You look at some of my last videos at the shows I did, in a big, huge open area with lots of light, and nobody's going to notice that I actually lit up the building. So I'm not going to worry about lighting this thing up at every show, but I'm going to light it up at our special shows, our shows that have a lights out, and it's usually a brick festival, a Lego convention. And we do plan on, I mentioned in the other video, we do plan on going to a few conventions in the future when the crisis is under control. We had plans on going to a few before the crisis hit, but of course the crisis hit, so I'm not going to do any shows because I do have a family to worry about, and I have my health to worry about. I mean, I'm pretty healthy, but that's going off in a tangent that I don't want to go on. But right now, there are no shows in our near future. But when we do brick shows, obviously I'm going to light it up because you guys at a brick convention, I think would like to see it lit up. I want to see it lit up. So I am trying to get this thing as quick as possible and neat as possible and as easy as possible to light up. So I did that with the 2x4 electric bricks or electric plates. And basically I'm going to put this thing down because of course I cannot lift up. Let me just put it here. I cannot lift up the base. I'm trying to get this thing. There you go. So that's what I got. Lift up, and it goes down there. And the second it plugs in, the lights come on. So let me turn this off. So now it's lit up just by dropping it on the 2x4 electrical plate. So the 2x4 here is attached to the building. The 2x4 down here is attached to the base plate. And those are the only studs, the 4 studs that interface, are the only studs along this entire perimeter of the monorail station. The rest is all tiles. So again, it's not moving, right? It's not moving anywhere because it's all latched in because I brought it up a plate. This is what I do across the board with all my, you can see over here, these edges are one plate above the rest of it. So the top will not slide off. But it's just basically held down by gravity. Straight up, it's held by, which is, I will be the first to say, it's not as good as you go like that, right? It will come off, right? So it's not set down. But when you have this building this heavy, I mean, it's a lot of brick, and the tower, which is stupid heavy, 4 studs or 14 studs, it's going to break somewhere along the line if it wants to fall off. It's going to break here. It's going to break somewhere. As a matter of fact, I broke it here last night, and I have to figure out why this thing, it might be a wire holding that. So it's not interfacing in properly. It is the one deficit with this building. It's not a strong building. Like you can pull down from the top, push down from the top, and that weight carries all the way down through here to the base plate, which is fine. But over here, obviously it doesn't, right? So if I push down here, so you have to be very, very genteel with the monorail station. It's probably the weakest building in the bunch. And after after Jeff's trip down to Alabama, Brick Fair, Alabama, and seeing the status of his castle when he got down there, I am actually worried about this guy. And the reason I'm worried about this guy particularly, and I'm not worried about that guy or any other guys, but this guy, because when he's in storage, he's on his side. He's laying this way, which means you got this entire open area. Let me get this thing out of the way. You have the entire open area, and either this side is the top, like, or this side is the top, and you hit a bump, and this thing's going to start curving in, okay? Because there's nothing pushing, like nothing. There's no reinforcement in the middle, and I can't reinforce the middle because there's 2 monorail tracks going through here. So it is a bit of a deficiency of this specific building. It's collapsed a few times in its life. I've made it a little better. I do have these 2x2 runners going down in various places, which adds a little bit more reinforcements. It's not just 1 brick thick, it's 2 bricks thick in some places. Overall, the 3 shows, or 4, how many shows did I do before the lockdown? The shows that I did before the lockdown, this thing never broke. But again, I'm just driving locally in town. I'm going to Toronto or Ancaster and stuff. If I'm driving all the way to Chicago or all the way to DC, I think this is the one building that's going to break in storage. Now, what I do plan on is getting some foam inserts and putting them here and here and on the edges when it's in storage, so it doesn't shift around, because basically this thing is exactly, when you take these things off, which I thought was another brilliant thing that I did, this building is exactly 64 studs long. It's 2 base plates wide, basically. And so this thing is on one side of the box, and it gets to the other side of the box, so it doesn't shift around too much, but it does slide a little bit. So if I put it in some sort of foam, at least maybe 1 inch of foam, and cut it out so it actually just snug fits in there, I think it'll move less and it'll break less. But that's something I have to do. I have to basically get this wooden plate, this MDF that I got, or HDF, it fits right on top of there, and just glue foam to it in the shape of that. This piece actually has, the other side is blue, poorly painted. I think that was 1 coat. These are the pieces that I use to fill in the gaps between the boxes when the whole layout's set up, so you can't see underneath and you won't be able to see all my wiring, crappy job of wires hanging from the bottom joists and stuff like that. So but in the end, should I have put that inside? Nah, I'm not worried about the white there. The gray's fine. The gray and white is fine. Nobody sees it. The front is that way, and I'm going to park a vehicle here. You'll never see that. Are you going to see that gap where they drilled that hole, or took a jigsaw to make that hole? Yeah, I'm going to probably cover that with a gray plate at some point. The jigsaw did get away from me a little bit, but again, the base plate itself, the 32 by 32, already had a broken corner there. There was missing the three. If I can show you here, was missing these 3. I got it in a lot. I don't know when, but I put it there originally because I knew I was going to run wires through there. But when I put the jigsaw in there, I made the curve way too much. But I was in a rush that day. The sun was going down, and but it was already broken. I'm not feeling too bad about it. But I did not cut into the next base plate, which is what I was very cautious of. I did not cut into this base plate, which is a crater plate, which is more important to me. Not that I put any scale on importance of classic space Lego. So this is, for a quick video, I'm already at 13 minutes. Let me just take a step back. I do like that lit up. I do like how easy it is for me to light up now. I just have to now light up the landing pads over there, all the pips, all of the 1x1 round trans red, green round bricks have to be lit up, and then I'm gonna have a spotlight shining out. But even the base, even the monorail base shining onto the landing pads, that's kind of cool. So this is my weekend. I'm going to try to lighten up the landing pads and get this thing stayed lit up and all connected together and blah, blah, blah. So that's it. That's all. I want everybody to stay safe and take care. And I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.